Alright guys, welcome to another breakdown of pound Japanese yen. Let's get into the charts. We have the pound Japanese yen on the weekly time frame. I mentioned last week that because we had two consecutive weeks of bullish price action, that we may form a doji candle, and so said so done. Last week we formed a doji candle, which is a kind of an indecision candle on the weekly time frame. So the pound isn't too sure what's going on, if we're bullish or if we're bearish, but soon enough we'd know for sure. Dropping onto the daily time frame, we could see, look at it, this is like some real messy price action on the smaller time frames. You have a pin bar, then you have a shooting star, then you have a doji candle, all sorts of mixed signals you're getting from the last week of candlestick price action. I'd bring back all my levels at this point, so I'll drop down to the forward time frame. I left all the levels that we had from the previous weeks up because we're still in the same general area, so all these levels are basically still valid. We have a downtrend line here. We're currently price is currently functioning within this channel really well. We formed a high here, then we formed a low, then a lower high, then a lower low, then a lower high, then a lower low, and we kind of in between this zone here, where if I get it right, this area here seems to be a strong demand zone. So if price could maintain above this area, we could see some bullish continuation price action for this week. Ideally, if I bring this trend line out there, it would be really nice if we could break below, retest the lower part of this trend line and push up. That'd be great as well. But if you were to look for some strong bullish confirmation, what I would look for is, let me get the marker. Where's the marker? Right. If you were to look for some strong bullish confirmation, I would look for a breakout of this downtrend line, a retest at around 134.80, and then we push to retest the highs. So this is the kind of price action that I would like to see. I'd take an entry somewhere here and stops below some low that would have been created for buys up into 136, and then after 136 the next level we're looking at is 139. Conversely, if we break down to the downside, if we break below here and price retests around this area, we could be heading down to test the lows, but I favor the bullish setup. But as I mentioned before, I always take price action day by day. So we look to see what this week has in store. We have clear market structure in terms of highs and lows. We currently function within this channel. We retested this zone 1, 2, 3 times. So if we could maintain above this area, that would be really nice. But the pound is kind of in a indecision mode, hence the doji candle on the weekly time frame. So this would be two really nice setups that I'll be looking for. So if you could break above this area, let me see if I could show you all an example of what that trade would look like. Yeah, something like this. That stuff is a bit too big for my liking. If we break above, I would like to keep stops like 134.30. Yeah, this would be like a really nice trade for me. Nice risk to reward ratio. If you could break above the downtrend line, retest it as support and push up, that would be nice. Moving on to Euro USD, we'll take a look at it on the weekly time frame first. See, we have some strong bullish price action on Euro USD, and that's because the US dollar has been weakening consecutively. Last week's candle was extremely bullish. I mean, I mentioned this already, that we capitalized on a breakout of this. Let me drop down to the daily time frame. Right, we were looking to capitalize on a breakout of this pennant, and we retested it about 3 times throughout the week, and we pushed up. Dropping down to the forward time frame, we could see these are the levels that we're currently at on this pair. um, we're currently in some resistance at around 114.50 on the dot, it looks like. Let me put 114.50 and get our exact coordinates. 114.50, yeah, 1.1450. So if you could break above 1.45, 1.1450 and get some support around this area, we could get some more buy entries up. But I would really like if you could get a retest of the trend line at some point. That would be nice as well. But I'm more of a kind of waiting to see, because we've maximized so much in terms of buys on this pair that I won't rush into, give the markets back any profits. So I'd kind of wait if you could break above 1.1450, get some support, or some strong support along this line. I could be looking for some buy entries up. Conversely, if we reject this area at 1450 and price fails to break and close above, this could be a really strong sell zone. So as I say all the time, we really need to look at price action to see what's the best option. Usually I don't do this, but let's look at euro versus the pound. There's a really cool. Oh, look, I mean, market open and we're already pushing up. But what I was looking at with this pair is we have another pennant again. Price broke out, but we came back and retested this area at around 90.87. If you drop down to the 1 hour time frame, you get to see it better. Yeah. So the trade I'm looking at in this pair, I mean, I usually like to just look at price action, but this kind of setup is pretty neat. So I just trying, different things for you guys to follow through on. This would be a really nice entry. Well, I mean, market opened at around the entry point, but if you could get a pullback, let me make this smaller. If you could get a pullback around this area at 90.87, I'd bring up my stops to about, yeah, that's like how much? That's 10 pip stop and like a 20 pip stop. So somewhere like around here would be better. You could see a nice trade up into, what is that? Let's make this smaller. 191.54. So if we could get that pullback to retest into this zone, we could catch buys up to make a new high, because you remember the market structure at the end of the day. We formed a low at this area, we formed a high, we're looking to form a higher low, and if we could form a higher high at around 191.50. I mean, I think that's all the pairs that you suggested that I look over. We could take a glance at the pound Australian dollar, because I have been waiting patiently to get longs on this pair. Well, that's if the market gives us the opportunity to. But we are looking extremely bearish. You look at last week, we have a bearish engulfing candle engulfing the previous candle. It would have nice if this kind of morning star on the weekly time frame could have continued. If you drop down to the daily time frame on this pair, let's try forward. Right for now. Yeah, we have some really nice I'll call it stolen price action around this area, which is a sign that some of the bearish pressure is slowing down, and we could see buys up for a really neat uptrend on this pair. If price could not break below 78.69, this area here for me would be an invalidation level for buys. So if you could maintain above this area, get a strong nice bullish candle. Ideally I'd say if you could break back above 1.8 or flat and get some support along this line, we could be heading for some really nice buys up, right? Conversely, we have this here. So if you could get something like this, that would be nice. So we reject from the 1.8 again, we retest this zonal support, and we could catch some buys up to retest the high. Keeping it short, guys. I hope that was helpful. I'll update you all during the week.